Welcome to Missouri Sports Talk. I'm your host, Cameron Staley. Today I'm here with
Easton D'Amelia.
Easton. We've got week of 420 small school predictions. Let's go ahead straight to it. Class 1 scoreboard from last week. Glasgow defeated Bevere 16-0. Iberia defeats Stoutland 4-0. St. Elizabeth got a good win over Dixon. This one was in extra innings, 4-3. Easton, I've got a stat for this one. St. Elizabeth freshman Cooper Kimna, he had a triple in this game and ended up getting an RBI. Wellington Napoleon defeats Lafayette County. Didn't really see this one coming. They win this one 7-5. Green City, they get that bounce back win that we are talking about, 12-2. And New Franklin defeats Northeast Cairo 8-2. Any thoughts?
That St. E game, it was a good win for them. They had a tough weekend this weekend, though, but they're a team that doesn't veer away from competition, and I'm excited to see what they can do in this class.
All right, I got one more stat from these games. Our Missouri Sports Talk Player of the Week for Green City is Ty Hall. He's a senior. He went 4 for 4 in this game against Marion County with a double, 4 RBIs, and a stolen base.
Okay, he's a dog. Certified dog, actually, on Missouri Sports Talk.
All right, let's go top 10 for Class 1 real quick. So, number 1 is Wheatland. I believe they kept their place. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is Oran. Same thing, kept their place. Atlanta gets the 3. Northland Christian moves up to 4, I believe. Or maybe they stuck there.
Yeah.
St. Elizabeth is still at 5. Number 6 is Bramer. They move up from 9. Faith Christian drops down 2 spots. They are now at 7. Halfway drops down. They are at 8. South Holt is 9. And Midway is at 10. I don't think we had anybody receiving votes, so we agreed on the 10. Or maybe no. We did have one receiving votes. I had Wellington Napoleon at 10.
Okay.
And you had Midway still at like 9, so they made it in. So one team receiving votes. So let's go ahead with the predictions for this week. Northland Christian and St. Pius X is where we'll start. That game is tonight. We had Bramer and Wellington Napoleon down on the sheet, and I guess that game's not happening. So we replace it with Risco and Cooter. Billings is hosting on the 24th. On the 25th is New Franklin, and the 28th is Rockport and Faith Christian. I'm going to take Northland Christian over St. Pius X. This is a Class 1 against a Class 6, so this is going to be a really tough game for the Blazers. But they've got hot bats right now. They're scoring 6.9 a game, and they are allowing 3.1. I feel like St. Pius X is just kind of an iffy team, so they may just beat Northland over the sheer size of this school, but I don't know. I will go with the Blazers.
St. Pius X won back-to-back games versus Kansas schools. I really don't know how good the teams were, but Northland Christian, they are on a 6-game winning streak, and I think both teams have played a really tough schedule, but give me Northland Christian to win this one.
Risco hosting Cooter. These two teams were both in the coaches' poll top 10 to start off the season. I don't think the coaches have put out a poll since, which is really weird. Normally they do bi-weekly. They just haven't done polls this year. So I don't know what the deal is there. But we do not have either of these teams in the top 10. I have Cooter right outside. If it were a top 15, they'd be in it. I will take them in this game. They're scoring 8 runs per game, and they're allowing 2.4, so the pitching staff and defense is playing pretty well this year.
Yeah, Cooter, I think, is just statistically better than Risco, and if you have a better hitting pitching, I feel like you're going to win this one.
Billings versus Wheatland. Billings, the host, they are a top 10 contender. They're just outside of the top 10 in Class 1. Wheatland is our number 1. Obviously, I'm going to take Wheatland. I mean, they're scoring 10.8 runs per game. The bats are going crazy, and they're only allowing 2.6. So, I mean, they're kind of killing the teams that they're playing.
Yeah, Wheatland has 4 significant wins. They beat 4 teams over 500. Billings was ranked week number 1, but they really haven't played anybody that any shocking wins. So I kind of dropped them out of my top 10, but I will take Wheatland to win this one.
New Franklin versus Atlanta. Atlanta is our 3 in the Class 1 top 10. So, obviously, I will go with the Hornets. They're scoring 10.1 a game, and they are allowing 2.9. I feel like they could go on a run.
Yeah, they're on a run right now. A 7-game winning streak. They had a significant win against Putnam County this year. I think they're able to beat New Franklin.
Rockport versus South Holt. I will go with an upset.
Okay.
I had South Holt at my 4 in the first week, and you and Zach kind of brushed them off, didn't put them in the top 10. So maybe that was just me overrating them, in all honesty. I ended up dropping them down to, I want to say, 9 this week after, I think, 2 losses. I think they went like 3-2 this week, so I dropped them 5 spots. And Rockport, I mean, they're right outside of the top 10. So I will take the upset. I mean, Rockport's on their home diamond. South Holt, like I said, they've lost 2 of their last 5 games. Maybe Rockport gets this one done. I mean, they're scoring 9.3 a game on average, and they're allowing 3.1. So I will go with the Blue Jays here in a technical upset.
Yeah, both these teams have very similar commons, so I think they're similar teams overall. Both teams lost to West Platte by 1, but it's one of those things where you beat this team by 5, this team beats them by 7, and then it just vice versa. So it's a tougher one, but I think Rockport's offense is just a little better. They've scored 17, 12, and 15 in their last 3 games, and that's the reason I'll take them.
Faith Christian versus Chillicothe is a tough one because Chillicothe is a solid team, and so is Faith Christian. Faith Christian just dropped in the polls. But the thing that really separates for me is that Chillicothe's had a rough past week. They're 2-4 in their last 6 games. Now they have played tough teams. They lost to Moberly, our number 1 in Class 4. Southern Boone, our number 10 in Class 4. They did lose to Owensville. That's a pretty ugly loss. And then I'm blanking on what the other loss was. But just overall, I mean, those are a few games that they should have won. Like the 4 losses, you would hope that they would have won at least 2 of those. But they didn't. They're on a slide. So I will take Faith Christian. This is kind of technically an upset since it's a smaller school. They're scoring 8.1 a game, and they're only allowing 1.4. Easton, the pitching staff is crazy this year.
Yeah, I think Chillicothe has played a tougher schedule to take that in consideration. They were 13 wins last year, and now they're 13-4 this year. I think they've improved tremendously, and I think their improvement's going to lead them to a victory against Faith Christian.
All right. Class 2 from this past week. Lone Jack defeated St. Paul in a run rule 15-5. Putnam County defeated Plattsburgh 9-4. Valley Catholic, they beat West County 7-0. These are 2 really good baseball teams, so that's going to be a really good win on Valley's track record towards the end of the year. Norwood defeats Hartville. We called that one. Norwood was on a 9-game losing streak against Hartville, and they got it done. I got a stat for us. Norwood's Pete McCoon, if I'm saying that correctly. He's a senior. He went 3 for 3 in this game with a double and an RBI, so he played pretty good in this one. Clopton, they defeated Montgomery County. It's another one that we called. They were also on a 9-game losing streak. For Clopton, Adam Lindsay, a senior, he went 2 for 4 with 2 doubles. So he was getting the extra bags in this game. And Gainesville versus Licking, that game didn't happen. So that's kind of unfortunate for us. We didn't get to fully predict all 18 this past week.
Well, I mean, that's back-to-back weeks, right? Because I think there was another one that was rained out. So, yeah. But no, there's a lot of really good games this week, and a lot of games that we actually predicted right. Class 2 with the rain out, me and you both did right. So I guess we know a little something. But Putnam County is a good team that I really look forward to. Valley Catholic is a team that's solidifying themselves as a number 1 contender in Class 3. Copton versus Montgomery. I think that game kind of shocked me, even though I kind of picked the upset. I didn't know if that would happen, and it found a way it did.
So the top 10 for this week in Class 2. Valley Catholic is our number 1 still, obviously. I think we actually kept the top 6, Easton. We didn't move the top 6 at all. So Iberia sticks at 2, Chaffee's 3, Putnam at 4, Maysville at 5, and Tipton at 6. Bloomfield moves up to 7. New Heights moved from 10 to 8. They're at 8 now. Valley is now the 9, and Puxico drops to 10. We did not take any teams out of our Class 2 top 10 this week.
Okay.
So, obviously, we got to talk about this week's games. Hartville and Seymour is where we will start. That game is tonight. Valley, Maysville, and West Rand, they all host tonight as well. So, we've got 4 games happening tonight on the scoreboard. Chaffee and Norwood, they both host on the 28th. Hartville versus Seymour. I'm going to take the road team here. Seymour's a Class 3 school. They're scoring 7 runs a game, and they are 10-9 against Hartville since 2010. So this is a really close matchup history. They play each other tough. I expect a pretty good game.
Yeah, Hartville, they just snapped their 3-game losing streak. I want to say they get back in the win column versus a really good Seymour team.
Valley versus Valley Catholic. Valley versus Valley. I think Valley Catholic obviously will win this one. I mean, we got them at number 1 for a reason. They're sitting at 18-1 this year. They're on a roll. So I think they actually just beat Duchesne, who is the defending Class 3 state champs that moved up to 4 this year. Duchesne's on a little bit of a slide, so I don't know. I mean, they'll probably still be like 9 or 10 in our poll tomorrow, but obviously, I mean, they could compete, but I don't know. I just don't think they're as good as last year. But that's besides the point. Valley, they're scoring 8 runs per game, and they're allowing 2.6. So I think the Warriors will continue to roll.
Yeah, Valley Catholic is a top team in Class 2. They have significant wins, as you said, in Duchesne and beat West County. I think their record really resembles on who they are, and I think they're able to beat Valley.
Maysville is hosting the St. Joseph Christian Lions. This is only like the second time I've ever talked about St. Joseph Christian, I believe. I am going to take them to lose, though. Sorry about it. Maysville, they're scoring 8.2 a game. They've got a really nice win over Putnam County. Maysville's our 5 in our top 10, so I think the Wolverines will win this one.
Yeah, St. Joseph Christian, they have only 1 win over 500, so they're winning games, but not significant wins. Maysville, they have a significant against, as you said, Putnam County, but they also beat Lathrop. And I think these significant wins add up over time and lead to my reasonings to pick you, so I'm going to pick Maysville.
West Rand is hosting Putnam County. I kind of thought about going to this game, Easton. I think I might take the night off, if I'm going to be honest. I think I'm just going to put this one up. West Rand, I mean, they're an all right team. I feel like they're better than what their record shows, sitting at 7-4. But I think they just, they got off to the start that they didn't really want. I feel like they probably wanted to start a little bit better than they are, but they've got a really tough matchup here with Putnam County, our number 4 in the Missouri Sports Talk Class 1 top 10. So I will go with Putnam. They're scoring 9.6 a game, and they've got a nice win over Polo, who's sitting right outside of the top 10.
Yeah, and they've been able to put runs up on the board, currently on a 6-game winning streak. Putnam County is a top team, and I'm excited to see what they can do during the postseason. So I'm going to pick Putnam County to win this one.
Chaffee versus Oran is our Class 2 game of the week. I'm having a tough time predicting this one. Chaffee's sitting at 12-0 right now. Oran 7-1. I've got Oran as my number 1 in Class 1. The Missouri Sports Talk Top 10 says that they're number 2, and Chaffee is the number 3 in Class 2. So this is a really crazy game. I just got to go with the defending champs here. Give me Oran. They're scoring 8.3 game, and they're allowing 3.3. This is going to be a really crazy matchup.
Chaffee has interestingly not played a team with a winning record, so they've yet to beat that winning team. So I really think this goes a long way to see what their standings look like in the rankings later, as Oran is a really good team. They beat Portageville, East Prairie, and Bloomfield. If Chaffee doesn't keep this one close, they might slide pretty darn far.
Norwood versus Gainesville is where we'll end off Class 2. Norwood, I mean, I got to take them here. They're scoring 9.4 runs a game, and they're 17-10 against Gainesville since 2010. So these two teams play pretty good amount.
Yeah, I'm going to take Gainesville in this one. Norwood did lose to Gainesville earlier in the year, and I think they're able to kind of make that comeback and beat a really good Norwood team.
Class 3 scores from this past week. Portageville defeated Twin Rivers 10-5. Easton, this one went to extra innings at 4-4. In the 8th inning, Portageville scored 6 runs.
Okay.
So they end up getting this one done 10-5. Macon defeats Centralia 13-7. This is a great win for them. Senior Trey Hatcher, he went 4 for 5 with a double and an RBI. Scott City defeats St. Pius X Festus 6-2. Windsor wins a close one against Kingsville 8-7. We did drop Windsor out of the top 10 this week. Same thing, dropping top 10s out. Diamond, they are out. Stockton, they are looking good. 10-0 over Diamond. And Lathrop with an upset over Lawson 6-3. This is a really great win for Lathrop. I mean, they're building. They're not quite in the top 10 yet, but I mean, they're trying to make a name for themselves. Easton, this Lawson, you're number one, so obviously you had to kind of drop that a little bit.
Yeah, Lathrop, that was a game that I thought Lawson would win. I had them predicted to win, but Lathrop kind of did the upset, so I had to drop them just a little bit. Don't think I dropped them too far. But Stockton is a red hot team. I had them in the rankings week 1. I mean, they are really hot, but sometimes baseball can kind of go in waves. So I kind of want to see how they do in this week, and then they could skyrocket in the rankings. That Macon game was very interesting, as you said. I think their offense is really good, and I think that demonstrated that they are a legit district champion contender.
The top 10 in Class 3 this week. Lone Jack keeps their spot at number 1. Scott City moves up to number 2. Fairgrove, they keep their spot at number 3. They had some tough losses this week, but they also had some pretty solid wins. Lawson, they dropped from 2 to 4 this week in the Missouri Sports Talk top 10. West Platte moves up to 5. Stockton is they're up to 6. I believe they're at like 9 last week, so they're moving on the up and up. North Callaway drops down to 7, Licking on their way up to 8. We've got a new ranked team, Pembroke Hill. They are at 9. We dropped out. Do you remember who we dropped out? Diamond. We dropped out Diamond. And Lamar is at 10. So I feel like we did pretty solid this week with the rankings and the picks. What was your record again?
13-4. You beat me by 1.
I went 14-3 this week. I did pretty darn good this week. So I'm now 2-1 against you. We'll see if you can try to even that back up with the large schools on Thursday. Let's go ahead with the picks this week for Class 3. We'll start off with Lamar and Seneca. Lamar, they were 8-0 last week. This past week they went 2-2. They had 2 really rough losses that probably shouldn't have happened. They lost to Stockton 13-0. You got to play a little more competitive than that. So I don't know what's going on with Lamar. It makes me want to take Seneca here. Seneca scoring 5.8 runs per game, and they're allowing 2.8, so the pitching staff's doing pretty well for Seneca this year.
Yeah, I'm going to take Seneca as well. They have one common opponent that really stuck out. Seneca actually beat Nevada 7-3. Lamar lost 8-0. And off a week where Lamar struggled, I kind of would take the team that's been more consistent, Seneca.
So that game is tonight. Stockton also hosts tonight. On the 24th, Ava and North Callaway will both be hosting, and Lone Jack and Portageville will be hosting on the 25th. Stockton, we just talked about them. They're hot. I actually had them at number 3 in my poll. I was ready to move them up, and so that's why they see themselves at 6 in the poll, because it kind of averaged out a little bit. They're scoring 8.8 a game. They've allowed 3 runs per game. I feel like this is just a really solid team, and Ash Grove's a pretty good test for them.
Yeah, it is indeed. Stockton is a hot, and there's a reason they're ranked and start off as ranked, and I think they'll demonstrate it versus a really good Ash Grove team.
Ava versus Thayer. Easton, these two teams feel pretty even this year, but overall, I feel like Ava's the better team. They're scoring 6.7 runs per game, and I love matchup history. They're 13-1 against Thayer since 2011.
Yeah, and they had actually a meeting earlier this year. Ava beat Thayer earlier this year 12-3, and that's something I don't think you really can come back. Obviously, a 9-run, you can just get a bad game and things don't go your way. But I think this is a game where Ava took control and they're able to win the second meeting.
North Callaway is hosting Montgomery County. Got to go with our number 7 in the top 10. North Callaway is scoring 9.7 a game, and they're allowing 2.5. They dropped because they had a really, really bad game against Mexico last week. It was like 15-2. But Mexico, they're really a really solid Class 4 team. So, maybe we're a little tough on North Callaway after that loss, but I do think that they'll continue to rise in the rankings.
Yeah, I noted that they've only lost 1, and that was to a really good team. Montgomery County just ended their 6-game winning streak, so they're looking to get back in the win column, but I think North Callaway will take this meeting.
Lone Jack, our number 1, they're playing Lathrop. Lathrop was the spoiler last week. They beat our number 2, so, are they the headhunters? We'll see. If they get this one done, they're 100% in our top 10. I don't care if they were to go 1-4 this week. If they beat the 2 last week and the 1 this week, got to at least put them in the top 10. I will take Lone Jack, though. Maybe I'm giving their Barstool some more clips. I don't think I ever told you.
Really?
Lathrop's Barstool clipped us. So I went in the comments, just to just to have some fun. I said, throwback to when I took you guys against Bramer and you lost by 10. They didn't say anything. But, I will take Lone Jack here. Lathrop, they're a solid team, but, I feel like Lone Jack's just an absolute buzzsaw. They're scoring 8.8 a game, and they're allowing 3.
Yeah, this doesn't even take account who they play. They have to play mid-buck as well. So this is a tough stretch for that Lathrop team. So if they're able to win one of these, I feel like that's a great reason for them to be ranked. But I like this Lone Jack team a lot. They can hit, they can pitch. I want to take Lone Jack to win this one.
Portersville is hosting West County as we wrap this one up. I will go with West County. They're 12-2-1 this year. They made the Final Four last year. I feel like, they're showing that they haven't lost their step quite yet. So I will go with West County. They're scoring 8.7 a game, and they're only allowing 2.5. The pitching and the defense is playing well.
Yeah, you brought up great points. West County is hitting pitching well, and that's all you can ask for. So I've seen them winning against Portersville as well, and I feel like that's a great way to end this video.
That's all you got for today. Large school top 10 tomorrow, and then large school predictions the day after. This has been Missouri Sports Talk. See you next time.